guys, what's up, Actions here and welcome back to this brand new video. And today, as you guys know, it is time for round 3 of the Dutch Rotax Max Challenge. Today it's actually Friday and well, it's raining, it's not raining right now, but it has been raining for quite some time and it's actually going to rain more today, so that's going to be very interesting. And of course guys, you have seen the video, we now have a brand new LN kart as well as the old Tony kart. And if it's going to rain this weekend, well, of course we're not going to drive with the brand new LN kart and we'll just stick with this thing right here. So yeah, I'm going to get my last few things and then I'll see you guys at the track. Alright people, we have arrived and I like the wet, I really do, but this is what you call a little bit overkill.
Yeah, it's absolutely pouring down and I'm happy that I managed to find a parking space for the van here next to the tent.
And yeah, that's of course not what you want. So yeah, that's going to be very interesting. I don't even know if we're actually going to drive today. But yeah, let's just see what happens. I'm going to unpack all of my stuff now and then yeah, we'll see. This day has been interesting. First of all, as you guys saw, it started raining, so I built the kart up for the wet conditions, and then when we tried to start it, yeah, it didn't work, so I had to change out the entire electrical system, so that was the first session gone. Then for the second session it started drying massively, so I had to change the car to the dry setup, and I had to change the entire electrical system, so that was really close. Then when I went out on track, the engine shut off after only half a lap. Then, to add insult to injury, we have to test the new car today, and it was dry, so we took out the new car, we completely built it up, and then it started raining again. So I probably won't even drive at all today. And if I will drive, then I have to take it very conservatively with the new car, not completely smash it over the curbs the first session. Then I know I'll just be 2 seconds a lap slower, but yeah, I know I can go 2 seconds a lap faster then. So yeah, this is going to be interesting, and also you haven't seen any GoPro footage yet. That's because I don't know where my GoPro mount is, so yeah guys, it's one of those days again. Yeah, you'll see if I have GoPro footage or you'll see my face again, I don't know yet. Right people, that was very interesting. Yeah, I did my first session on the LN kart. Yeah, a bummer that we had to use it in the wet because, well, it was the only one that was built up, unfortunately. Anyways, it's a lot stiffer than the Tony kart. I noticed that immediately, I went flying over every curb. Anyways guys, I'll try to fix the issue before the next session because otherwise, yeah, it's just annoying, man. Everything's breaking today for some reason. But yeah, it was actually quite okay. Yeah, off by about a second. But remember that this is only my first session and I took it a little bit conservative because it's a new kart, of course. So if I completely send it, then I'm sure I'm going to find at least like half a second more. And maybe even more if I improve my driving just a little bit more. Anyway, so far it's looking good. Looking really fine. Alright guys, we're finally out on track and everything is working. At this point in time we had only done one session in the wet and that went okay. So it was time to see what this new LN kart could do in the dry. And as always guys, if you are still enjoying these videos then please consider hitting those like and subscribe buttons. For you it's only a few small clicks, but for the creator it is literally all they want. Not only that, but you'll also never miss a new video. Anyways, the new LN kart certainly felt a whole lot different than the 2021 Tony kart. When a kart gets older, the chassis becomes more flexible. A kart does not have suspension as you can see, so the force of cornering and curbs are all absorbed basically directly by the chassis. So a brand new kart usually feels a lot stiffer than a used one. Now, is a new kart faster? In my opinion, not necessarily. A new kart is easier to drive however. With this thing, wherever your front tires are pointing, that's where the kart will go. It will not fight back at you and it will always be forgiving. With the used kart however, things are a little bit different. It might fight back a little bit through the corners and overall it will just take more brain power to do the same lap time. For me that's the main difference. So this thing was a bit more forgiving, but that's not a free pass however. Yeah, whoops. I literally binned the kart on my first dry run. Luckily I didn't hit anything and it just became dirty, as did my ego. Anyways, after I had cleaned the kart and my ego, it was time for another session. This time I did decide to stay on the track however, so let's do a little walkthrough of this track. T1 is a fast right-hander with a lot of banking and now a lot of extra runoff area. And in my opinion that runoff area is a huge improvement to the track. Braking for turn 2, another hairpin with a square apex. They also renewed the runoff area here, but that was already a few years ago. Then another short run into turn 3, another hairpin that flows into turn 4, a slow left-hand hairpin, for which they also renewed the runoff area a couple of years ago. Then, coming up to the best corner of the track, T5, a super fast left-hander which is almost flat out. This corner immediately flows into a chicane with absolutely deadly curbs, which in turn immediately flows into the Mickey Mouse section. Super technical, but definitely not slow. As you can see, this track is just corner, corner, corner. It's a real attack on your body. Now, exiting the Mickey Mouse section into the last few corners, which are all flat, you really have to be smooth on the steering to carry the most speed to start your next lap. And that, guys, is a super intense lap of the super physical track of Circuit de Lansart in Eindhoven. You know, guys, sometimes I really do wonder what my IQ is. Yeah, the first session with the GoPro, terrible. Like, I was decently quick, but yeah, I just wasn't focused. I looked around, followed the guy, and then I lost the back end and pinned the new kart. So that was nice. They were really pissed at me, which is completely justified, of course, but yeah. Cleaned it, all good, but then we had another session and that went pretty well, actually. Yeah, we were on completely dead tires, and well, it was not really that bad. Yeah, guys, another strange issue. The Unipro somehow stopped working, and I don't know why. I don't know, man. I don't know. Alright, people, that last section was actually really decent. Managed to do a 43.8, which is my personal best at this track, and also yeah, it's up there in terms of time. Maybe not like with the fastest guys, but definitely top 10, so that's good. That's well, that's a little bit better than where we were in Spa anyway. But yeah, I'm still making quite a lot of mistakes. I really have to get used to the new kart. Yeah, it's really different. Like, the biggest difference is that you can just feel that it's a lot more rigid, so it's a lot more stiff, and for some reason it's a lot easier to drive than the Tony kart right now. It actually, because it's so stiff, it actually does some of the work for you for some reason. It's really hard to explain, but if you have ever driven a new kart, you know what I mean. And also, we were running completely stock, so yeah, there's definitely some more time to be found in there. But right now, where I'm losing the most time is definitely the entry to the 3 hairpins in the first and middle sector. I'll put that on screen right now. Those 3 corners really are my Achilles heel at the moment, because the technical stuff back there is all fine. Yeah, definitely a lot to improve on, but still, we're looking better than we are in Spa, and that's already very good. Anyways, I have to clean this thing. See you guys after that.
Traditions.
Alright, people, welcome to day 2. I actually wanted to start it out today in the video with some onboards, but I got the SD card error again, so that's a bit of a shame. Also, what happened is that my starter button broke again. It was a brand new one, so the electronics are really letting me down this weekend, but that's okay. Anyways, yeah, it went okay, no real big problems. But yeah, just a little bit of the pace, but we're also on completely dead tires, so yeah, that's what you get. But yeah, we're going on new tires next session, so let's see what we can do then. So, day 2. We started out the day on dead tires, like I said, but for session 2, which is the one on screen right now, we put on some new ones. And to be honest, the kart felt really good. We were now testing out some setup things, and as you can see, we were running a really wide track width at the front. And it worked. I was quick, the kart felt good, and you can also see that it basically looks on rails, nice and tidy. And we were also gaining quite a lot on the karts ahead. for the next session we tried some other things with the setup, but this wasn't the right direction to go in. Speed was a little bit worse than before, but nothing shocking, still top 10 pace. Now because this is a new kart, we of course have to determine the weight again. For my class we have a minimum weight of 162 kilograms, and that is for the driver plus the kart. On my Tony kart we had to add 3 kilograms of extra weight to meet this requirement, and because we hadn't weighed the LN kart yet, time to do it now. And it turned out I'm a fat bitch, because we already weighed 163 kilograms without any added weights. Nice. Anyways, time for a lunch break, setup change, and I'll show you around the paddock. Also we had to go to the scrutineering, which is basically a moment in which the stewards will check your kart for any problems or rule breaches. Alright people, about half of the day is done. And yeah, I feel like we're doing okay. Better than Spa anyways. Yeah, I feel like we're a little bit close to the top now. We're only losing about 3 or 4 tenths to the top, and yeah, in Spa was way more. Anyways guys, I got sidetracked a little bit there. But yeah, it's going okay. We're now going to switch to a softer axle. That is an interesting choice, but yeah, I trust my mechanic that he knows what he's doing, but yeah, it's an interesting choice. But hey, let's see how that goes. Those clouds look absolutely menacing. It almost looks like a blanket over the circuit, don't you think? I hope they keep their rain inside of them.
Ja, wij staan te kletsen, wij gaan ook naar buiten.
Ja. Kijk zo.
Hallo. Ja, Ossa. Hey. Koppie. Dankjewel.
Alsjeblieft. In some earlier footage you heard me talk about switching to a softer axle. Now we did this, and normally you only do this when the track grip is very low or when it's wet. But on some occasions it can also work in the dry. But in our case it didn't. You can really see that the kart is all over the place now. And setups are just a weird thing, man. Now, if you want to discuss these things with a nice community, consider joining my Discord server. In here we've got some awesome people from all over the world who are all motorsport fans, sim racers or karting drivers. Consider checking it out, a link is in the pinned comment. Now we only had 5 sessions this day, so the one on screen right now was the last one of the day. And sadly we weren't able to find the correct setup in this session either. The car was nervous, constantly on edge, and overall just not working. It had both oversteer and understeer on entry, and that also destroys your exits of course. Especially in faster corners the car just wasn't working with me. Just look at how much more speed the other driver can take through these corners. Well guys, that was day 2. Everyone has left. I was still here cleaning the car a little bit because my mechanic had to go early. So I had to do some things myself, but that's okay. Yeah, a bit of a weird day. On new tires we had to pace, but the tires wore out so freaking quickly. Look at this. Yeah, I did about 3.5 sessions on this, and look at this, wait. Yeah, look at this, that's not good. But yeah, we tried the soft axle, and with the soft axle the tires just, yeah, they just ate away. So yeah, soft axle definitely not the way to go, but yeah, it was worth a try. But yeah, now it's time for even more traditions, going barbecuing again. And after that I'll see you guys again. It's a nice barbecue, but yeah. Alright people, good morning. It's race day. I started a lot better than yesterday, so it's going to be a good day. I feel it. I feel it. Alright people, time for qualifying. If you've seen the other 2 race weekends so far, then you'll know that we've been pretty unlucky in qualifying so far. Getting taken out, getting blocked, you know, all that kind of good stuff. Now, back to today. The Mojo D5 tires that our class uses have a huge peak of performance in lap 3 and 4. So it is super important that you have a clear track ahead of you and preferably to have a little bit of a slipstream. And unlike F1, there are no gentleman rules in karting. So it's basically every man for himself and you are the only one who is responsible for your track position. So I was determined to get a good track position this time, and as you can see, we finally have a good track position. Let's ride on board in the fastest lap of the weekend.
Yeah, boy.
And yeah, once again we get screwed over in qualifying. The lap in which I tapped that dude was lap 3, and the very next lap when I overtook him was in lap 4. So again, both of my peak performances were blocked. We looked in the data, and if we put all of my best sectors of lap 3 and lap 4 together, we would have done a 43.4, which would have put us in around P10 or P11. But now we got P18. Alright guys, yeah. Another frustrating qualifying. It seems to be a trend this weekend, or this year, that the qualifyings really don't go to plan. Yeah, I really had to take a moment aside. I was really angry, but yeah, it's just circumstances, man, just like last time. It's not really a driver's fault, it's just circumstances.
Anyways, time to top up the tank with broodje frikandel speciaal, which is another Dutch delicacy. And after that we'll see. I will try my absolute best in race 1. And well, overtaking seemed good anyways.
Yeah, for some reason I'm a lot more comfortable with overtaking right now than I was at Spa. Well, this track is infamous for being really difficult to overtake at, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see what we can do in race 1. Alright, pre-final. Now again, unlike F1, we have a rolling start in karting. So we line up in double file, wait for the red lights to go out, and we're away. Starting on the outside is always a negative thing at the Landstart, and that shows its effect once again. We get into the dirty line and we lose a whole lot of positions there. Then braking for turn 2 we get a massive shunt from behind, and that gives us a front fairing penalty. If you guys didn't know, karting has a system in which your front bumper can get pushed in if you make contact, and by that the stewards can tell if you've pushed someone or not. But in this case we got a smack from behind, by that we smashed into the guy ahead of us and we couldn't do anything about it, and we get an unfair penalty. And there's no dispute, you cannot protest the penalty, it's just 5-second penalty no matter what. Now skipping ahead to lap 2 we get absolutely dive bombed by this dude and we have to avoid him, but by doing that we get pushed onto the dirty part of the track and you have no grip at all over there, so we lose another handful of places, which is super frustrating. Then a few laps later we get a good run out of T1, but we get squeezed and we can't really go anywhere, so we're forced to stick behind sadly, and I kind of push him a little bit on the bumper there, but that was not on purpose. And here I also started to notice that the grip had no guard whatsoever. It just wasn't sticking to the road and it was biting back at me and just kept sliding all over the place, and it was especially prevalent at the rear of the kart. And here we struggled to even keep the kart on the line, and because of that 2 drivers managed to get past me and I once again get pushed onto the dirt. Yeah, all in all this race is just going disastrous and we had no pace whatsoever, and that was all down to the fact that the kart just wasn't gripping, and especially at the rear like I said. It just kept going backwards every lap. The kart suddenly became more slidey and slidey as the race went on. And when the last lap came around we had a super big gap to the next group of karts ahead. We crossed the line in P18 and we had 8 seconds worth of penalties because I also just binned someone in the last lap. Definitely not where I wanted to finish and arguably not where I belong. This race was just an absolute catastrophe, and if we wanted to do better next race, something had to change. It was clear to everyone that the car just wasn't working, so we did some last minute radical setup changes to try and find some more lap time. Okay guys, time for the final. We roll onto the grid now, 5 red lights and away we go. This time we do have the inside line, but because they take it so slowly on the inside we actually get overtaken around the outside there. Then, turn 2, I decided to go around the outside this time, but that immediately backfired when 2 people collided and caused a pile-up, causing us to lose even more positions. Luckily we didn't get caught up in the pileup, because that would have been an expensive fail. A few laps later we caught back up to the pack, but then the driver ahead of us decided that it was a good idea to brake in the middle of a corner. We tap her and we get yet another front fairing penalty. She then proceeded to take herself out of the race, which was actually a pretty nasty incident because she ended up breaking her rib and bruising her spine. Hope you get better soon. Moving on, we were now with the back markers, like really at the back. Remember that setup change we did? The car was now both understeering and oversteering at the same time. I constantly had overheating rear tires, and because we moved to a stupidly large sprocket, I couldn't overtake anyone. So we were stuck, until we got absolutely destroyed by the number 320 there. I actually went to him after the race to ask what he did, and according to him, he did nothing. Which is the same excuse our current Prime Minister uses, but I digress. A few laps later he binned another driver in the same corner, and we profit from that too and take his place. And also in this replay shot you can see why you definitely do not want to be on the outside at the Lansard. There is just no grip and you will slide off and you will have no grip for the rest of the lap. So yeah, after that little moment nothing else really happened and we crossed the finish line in P20. Add a 5-second front fairing penalty to that and yet again we finish in P23. This weekend was super frustrating and I was actually so done with karting at this point that I just threw everything into the van and I went home instantly. I didn't even record anything else. Also, I felt absolutely awful for Monday and Tuesday after this weekend and I was just super tired for some reason, also physically I was super tired. I actually only started making this video on Thursday and even for that I had to push myself. Alright guys, back in the workshop, it's Thursday. I still really haven't recovered from that really, I'm still super annoyed by everything that happened. Yeah, it just looks like it wasn't meant to be this weekend, it's just super annoying. Especially considering how strong we were looking in the weeks I went testing before with the old Tony car right there. And you expect the new car to be quicker than the old one, but yeah, it just wasn't. And we really have to get down to the source of that problem. Now guys, remember, if you enjoyed that, even though this was a completely shitty round, then please consider hitting those like and subscribe buttons. You know you really help me when you do that. Now the other 2 race weekends I had this year so far went a little bit better and they're on screen right now right here. So if you want to check them out, well, here they are. This video is done however, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.